Perfect. Okay. Hi,
Yeah.
everybody. This is Joy. She has been my I was following you 2020, right around the time I got engaged. And I
Oh,
thought,
right. Yes, I
yeah, and I
remember
thought
that.
I
It's
want
so
to work with her
exciting.
once this whole wedding thing is over and I have more time to focus and I'm ready to like start my new life, with
Yeah.
my husband and like up level our income and all of that. So that's what I ended up doing is like a month or two after we got married, I worked with you, and it really impacted my business in the next year. In 2021 was by far my best year
Yay.
ever.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
I wanted to introduce Joy to more people in my community because I just find you so inspiring. Even though I've been through your program, I always need reminders because it's so different than what other people say, and it's almost like reprogramming. You have to hear it
Yes.
over and over and over. So let me just pass it to you. So my first question is, how did you get to where you are?
Oh, thanks for asking. And thanks for having me, by the way, too. And I think you and I connected probably through B school, which I went through years ago, or another business program or something like that, which was cool. And I'm just so excited about the work that you do too, Delight. So thanks for having me here. And yeah, so it's a loaded story, right? Like everybody's. But I started my business back in 2011. Started out as a life coach, actually, and I really started my business from a place of passion. Being a special needs mom, there was a lot of journey. I had gone through a lot of personal development. I had learned, and I'm a former teacher, couldn't go back to the classroom with a special needs child. I thought, well, there's this thing called coaching. I worked with a life coach and realized I meant to be a coach. That's my next step. But I started out in the life coaching space. And then, it's every step you take forward, you get a little more clarity. Sometimes, we can end up kind of like, what do I do? I'm not sure. And it's like every little step you take forward shows you the next thing. It gives you that clarity, the next thing. So it evolved from life coaching to mindset coaching for entrepreneurs to my bigger brand of Simplify to Multiply, which is really a combination of mindset and strategy. You need them both really to make these big leaps forward in growth. But I never made more than $20,000 a year for the first 5 years, and there's nothing wrong with that. I was treating it a little more like a hobby. I was enjoying it, but then you get to that point where, okay, my kids are getting older. Two of my kids need to go to private school. That was a big deal. That was a big motivator for me. I need to be making, $50,000 a year was my goal, like to jump up to that. And I had this line in the sand moment, though, like I got frustrated enough because either I've got to start making money in my business or I've got to go get a job. It's not just like nice to have. And private school was about twins that were born prematurely and, needed extra support. Public school wasn't working. So I had a really strong why. A really strong why makes a big difference, like tapping into like, okay. And sometimes you have to get to that sort of challenging moment where you say something has to change, and I was a little hard on myself too, initially. But when I had that moment where I'm like, I'm doing this, I've learned enough, I can figure this out, I'm going to do this. But one of the reasons that I was moving along so slow, despite towards the end of those last 5 years, I was taking all these business programs and working, felt like I was working on my business all the time. I was making it way too complicated. I was trying to do all the things and make them all perfect. And I thought, I have to have this perfect website like Marie Forleo, or I can't be successful, right? Or I have to, be visible online, every day, multiple times a day, or I can't be successful. So I was busy with things that were not getting me the results that I want. I was just overcomplicating it. And is this something you see, Delight, too, with clients that you work with their marketing? What does that look like in your world?
Yeah. And I'm nodding because I've done it too.
Yes,
And
right. All the things, as they say.
yeah. Yeah. Because it's coming from a place, to me, it's coming from a place of more like a desperate energy and a lack mentality, which is why I appreciate you're always bringing back to the mindset stuff. Because I think that's still, I have a lot of room for improvement personally myself with that stuff. And so when I notice that, I'm like, but sometimes, then I've personally been playing with, but sometimes I feel like posting everywhere.
Yeah.
It's
And
not
that's a
coming
great
from a mind.
energy.
It's not coming from a lackful, desperate place. It's coming from like, I have something to say.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's something I haven't heard people talk about as much.
Exactly. Well, you know why you're more confident and it's easier for you to do that because you know your messaging too. You know, you've learned how to communicate your expertise and, really stand confidently and own the value you have to offer. And that's what creates that outward success, really. It's first an inner thing, but it also is a practical thing. How do I contribute value in my emails and social posts and become a have to hire, right, to the people who are following you? And that's such a game changer. And when I was doing all the things, I said, you know what? I am going to stop doing all this. I literally threw a pillow across the room. My husband remembers, said a few expletives, which was very unlike me at the time. And I went in my office, pulled out a piece of paper and said, I'm just going to focus on this, this, and this, nothing else. And literally, I did not find that paper again. I didn't even know where it went to. I found it in a book when we moved to Florida 3 years ago. There it is. That was like the line in the sand. And it was just simple focus. I'm going to focus on this, this, and this.
Do you remember what it was?
It was grow my Facebook group, post consistent content, narrow my focus. Basically those kind of three things. I knew a lot of I was trying to be everything to everyone. I hadn't really decided I'm going to serve entrepreneurs exclusively. I just had to get more specific in my lane. And once I did that, I went from that 20K a year, that's if you counted some side gigs too, to 104,000 the next year. I mean, a huge jump. My goal was 50 that year because that will pay for private school. That'll start paying down our debt. I thought that feels doable. And it just totally, in the next year, I continued doubling and beyond that. Things just started going a lot more quickly. And it wasn't some magic. There was a lot of mindset work I was doing for years before that, for sure. But then once I had done that, it's come on, it's go time now. That simplicity. And that's how my brand shifted to simplify to multiply in 2018. Because one of my coaches said, Joy, I made this little course called Simplify to Multiply, which I don't even do courses anymore. I do just coaching programs. But at the time she was like, that's your jam. That's your thing. Keeping it simple. I'm like, you're right. That is, what I'm naturally good at doing, even though I kept my business so complicated for so long. Anyway, so when you're keeping your focus simple, you focus on just mastering your offers, your messaging, and your sales process. And when your messaging is really getting into the head of I call yes client, that's my word for ideal client. When it's really getting into the head of your yes client, then people see you as that have to hire. And when your messaging and offers are aligned, what I'm talking about, and then, what my program is, when they're aligned and people see, the people that are watching as a have to hire, I have to hire her. That's exactly what I need. Then the sales process is really easy too, because they're really pre-sold from following you and reading your well thought out content, and quality is better than quantity, although quantity can be good too, of just being very visible, but that high quality content that really gets into the head, they feel seen and heard and understood. And I know, this from ads as well, Delight, right? That copy, it's got to really land or ads aren't going to work.
Yeah, because we talk a lot about attracting the right type of person. So the messaging is really at the core of that, because if your messaging is too broad, you're attracting all kinds of people, and that's not what you're offered, so then your conversion rates are low because you have all these people who aren't even close to your yes client really for your paid offer,
Exactly.
So it is aligning all of those things. And then I think people get nervous to really niche down. Can you talk about that? How did you get comfortable to be nope, this is who I'm working with. This is what I'm offering. I'm not doing everything to everyone. you
Yeah.
know?
I think it's a process. Like there's some people that know right away, like they're really specific niche that they want to serve. But I think, when you start your business, you have to try some things, and sometimes you can outgrow what you're doing too. Like my progression from life coach to mindset coach to, serving entrepreneurs exclusively, it was sort of like a combination of life events. Like for instance, I was going to a in-person networking group, and it was for entrepreneurs. I loved it. It was very mindset oriented. Well, the leader left and I was very involved. And she said, Joy, would you like to lead this? I didn't see myself as a leader to entrepreneurs yet, but that opportunity presented itself and I started teaching and coaching and leading this group and like, wow, I really love this, and they have a different impetus, they have a different why, and they have more passion than, other clients I'd worked with before. So I think it's a combination of like, knowing your knowledge and experience and what you desire, what you want to do, and really owning it. And also sometimes seeing how life leads you, of directing you towards like, hey, here's an opportunity and, try it out. And oh, yeah, I really like, going this direction. I've seen people make some shifts. You don't have to be doing, the same thing 3 years from now as an entrepreneur, but I think it's a combination. My belief is you get to have it the way you want it. So if you have that desire to serve a particular group of people, you may feel like they're not in your world, but the manifestation of that desire it exists because you have it. That means the people are there. I use the analogy of the simplify glasses. Delight, you've probably seen me do that, right? When you look through the world through these simplified glasses, you can see the how, you can see the way, the ideas and the opportunities, the people you need to connect with, they will come to you. It's just sometimes we make it too hard and complicated and could make it like block ourselves actually from seeing the path forward.
Yeah, I want to talk more about that because what you're saying here is really key with the work I do too, where we talk about, so you're saying, the people, the dream clients, which is what we're talking about here, they are in your world. They are connected to you somehow. They might be on your email list. They might be a Facebook friend. They might be an Instagram connection. They might just find you through Google, but like, I remember a moment, like I wanted to talk about, it sounds like you shared a little bit about like you had your like line in the sand moment. For me, it was when I transitioned but from doing more like meditation and spiritual type of topics to my own marketing. But I remember feeling like resentful towards my audience because they weren't buying what I was offering. And I was like, I know this is my fault, but I'm mad at them. And it's like, my email list just doesn't have any buyers. They're all freebie seekers or whatever. It's kind of, and I was like, I know that's not true, but that's how I feel right now. And I hear that all the time from people.
Me too. Oh,
so I wanted to talk more about that, about it's not your people, it's your message isn't resonating with, that's usually what it is, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. I think your sound may have cut out. Go ahead and say something again.
Oh, can you hear me?
Oh, you're back. Okay, great.
Okay.
There was a little glitch in the video for a moment. We're good. Okay. Yes. So to speak to your point there, about, can you go ahead and repeat that last sentence again, since I missed the last few words?
I said it's not that your people are unwilling to work with you or invest or commit, that you have this your entire audience is duds, it's probably a messaging thing more likely, that you're not inspiring that action and showing the value and all of that.
And I see this happen for my clients, and even all of you watching will have an opportunity to come to a free workshop series I have coming up on the 18th. Delight has the link she'll share here along with this video. That when you start fine-tuning your messaging and really getting into the head of your yes client and their desires and where they're at, I call it the point A, the point A where they're at now, and speak to the point B of where they want to be, and the bridge of how you help them get there. They're going to really understand, like, wow, that's exactly what I need. That's exactly where I'm at. That's exactly where I want to be. That's exactly what I need. And it's like, you'll see this happens like time after time after time. Once clients start working with my team and I, is that they start getting reach outs. They start getting people booking calls, and they're like, I've never seen this person before, or this person's been on my email list for 2 years and hasn't said boo. And here they are reaching out to me now. It's like people come out of the woodwork, or they're a degree or two away from you. Like one of my clients had a hard time believing, like she raised her prices and she niched in a little bit, and she had that belief issue. And we talked about it just like you and I are. And she messaged me just a few days later. She's like, I've got a call booked with a perfect lead that I've never heard from before. One of my friends saw my post, sent it to her friend, and said, oh my goodness, I need to talk to her. Like, see, it was just a degree or two away, and the more that you show up and in that messaging, people will be drawn to it, or people will bring people along for that, or you'll get more visibility opportunities in front of other audiences, and you'll be getting new leads and followers that way. So it becomes this cool ripple effect once you really hone in on, here's who I serve and here's how, and I'm going to learn how to communicate that in an effective way so you get consistent leads.
Yeah. And I was just thinking how you were saying about the workshop coming up, that a lot of times people just going through the free workshop will start having these experiences where they take it and run with it, and they tweak something, and then all of a sudden somebody's DMing them like, hey, let's talk about your offer,
Yes, it happens every time I run a workshop, and my team and I, you're going to have a professional copywriting coach actually reviewing one of the exercises that you're going to do. So you can start fine tuning your copy even during this free workshop. And you're going to really just get this insight into how to fine tune it. I have some exercises I'll be sharing that you'll download on your computer and probably use over and over again. So because as you grow and learn and work with more people, this changes over time too, right? So even if you're like at multiple six figures, my clients do some of these exercises because they're ready for the next level, or they're ready to make what's working even better. And really, sometimes it's just the nuances of changing how you position what you do and fine tuning it a little better, and really paying attention to what your clients are saying, what's going on for them. And that can play into your messaging as well. So it's really like I call it messaging is a little hinge. It seems like one thing, but it swings a big door of opportunity when you master it.
Yeah, I found that for sure, as far as needing to redo some of these exercises. And it's nice that you do these workshops, and like, that's why I was telling everyone, like, come see Joy, because every time you are a content machine and you put out videos and different things at different times, and I'll go watch something and be like, oh yeah.
Right, right, exactly. Reminded.
It's changed, it does change. You evolve your desires, you get clarity because you work with a client, you're like, okay, this was great, I want more clients like this, which is a little bit different than the people I had been working with. And then you can evolve. And so it is good to dive back into some of those worksheets and really think about it, like with focus, and like, okay, what is this, what am I doing?
Sometimes there's important pre-work to do of like your own self-evaluation and reflection, and who you want to serve and what's really going on for them. Sometimes we can make assumptions about what we need to say to get clients. Sometimes we can be too vague or general, or if you're a coach, you can sound too coachy or sound like everybody else. So really knowing how to communicate your differentiators, those are things that are like often missed as well, that are part of the exercises we're going to be doing in this workshop. So anyone who's watching, grab Delight's link and join us. It's free. It starts on April 18th. So we're really excited about everybody coming in, getting it on their calendars. And we're going to be live every day at 10 a.m. Eastern time. I'll be live I'm deliver for 30 minutes. Like I'm sharp, 30 minutes sharp, no fluff. And each day it's going to be the step-by-step, so that by the end of the week, you're going to feel so clear in your messaging, and you're going to have an exercise to do to probably get some new leads and maybe even some new clients. So it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm ready to like think about everything I'm doing again. Like I said, it's like the next evolution.
Yes,
and so
absolutely.
before we wrap up for today, I wanted to ask you about your reclaimed guilty pleasure. This is something I want to ask everybody that I talk to. So what is something that you love, but you have in the past have felt a little judgment or a little conflict, but now you're like, nope, I just love this thing. I'm going to do it and enjoy it.
Yes. Well, because of my business success, we've been able to buy a beachfront condo. So it's second home. We're actually going there in about an hour.
Nice.
And like, just to like not, it's kind of like initially when we bought a luxury car a couple years ago, a fun car, I didn't even want to like drive it out of our neighborhood. It was just like, oh, this is too much, or, this isn't like, it's an identity shift, of just like allow yourself to enjoy things of life and to take really good care of yourself. Being at the beach and in the sunshine, we moved to Florida here 3 years ago because of that. Like, I just can't take winter anymore. And they're good, 2 of my kids. So it's like making those decisions and not feeling like a bad person, and not feel like, no, this actually helps me be my best when I have my weekends on the beach and serve my clients best and do the good things in the world that I want to do. So that's mine, being on the beach on the weekend and just, really having that time, being in nature, really makes a difference. Feet in the sand, and just, it's so calming. And I know not everybody lives in a place where there's beautiful sunset. So kind of getting past that, it's okay to enjoy life and it's okay to share about it was a hurdle to overcome. My guilty pleasure. Coming
That's
soon.
A good one. That's a good one. That's a really good one. I resonate with that too. When you feel like you shouldn't be, someone's going to feel bad if you share about, these wonderful things that have happened for you,
But then I think of other people that I've followed that have inspired me, that they went for this thing and they got, or the beach house, or the, the trip, or whatever it might be, like, oh, they did it. That's so inspiring. So if we can just make that shift in our mind and just know, like, I'm a person of integrity and I'm going to inspire others to create the life that they desire as well, that helps you to just feel really good about it.
Well, that's great. I love that. And I think that's a great place to leave it. So again, that's going to be April 18th. You get 5 days with Joy, plus the copy review from her copywriting coaches. And so that is going to be super valuable. And the link is going to be wherever you're seeing this or hearing this. I'm going to have the link there for you so you can sign up and join us. And I'm going to go through it again. It's like actually just what I need right now. So I will see you guys there if you show up to the workshop.
We'll have lots of fun.
All right. Thanks, Joy.
All right. Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
Bye.